The fine-tuning argument for the existence of God is very enticing and even convincing at first. However, once it is given a little more than a modicum of skeptical thought, I believe it is no better than any of the other arguments. So, what is the fine-tuning argument? Well, here it is in syllogistic form. Premise 1. There exist many cosmological constants that govern the universe, which if altered by even an unimaginably minuscule amount, would not allow for the conditions to be set for the existence of life. Premise 2. These constants being tuned precisely for the existence of life are either the product of an intelligent designer or the product of random chance. Premise 3. These constants being as precisely tuned as they are could not have realistically been a product of random chance. Premise 4. Therefore, they are the product of an intelligent designer. Conclusion: therefore, God exists. Now, there is a debate in cosmology over whether or not the universe actually is precisely fine-tuned for the existence of life. It most definitely is tuned for life as we know it, but we don't know if life could arise under other tunings of these constants.
Sadly, we just don't know whether life could exist if the conditions of our universe were very different, because we only see the universe that we see.
Regardless, I'm going to grant that these constants are precisely tuned for life in general. Now, the fine-tuning argument is a teleological argument for the existence of God, and so it is very similar to the other teleological argument for God known as the argument from design, which focuses on the complexity of biological organisms being indicative of an intelligent designer. These two arguments are very similar and share much of the same fallacious reasoning. And to show you just how similar they are, take a listen to the following hypothetical dialogue I've constructed between a theist and an atheist living in the early 19th century. So tell me, sir, do you believe in God? No, I do not. Have you not looked around you? Look at how complex the world and life within it is. Any layman could look at the world with a surface level perspective and be astonished by its complexity. Are you not familiar with the works of Andreas Vesalius, William Harvey, or Carl Linnaeus? Of course I'm familiar with them. Then you surely must understand the sheer complexity of life. I must agree, life is very complex. Then tell me now, what is more likely, that life with all its complexities and intricacies just happened by chance, or that it was deliberately designed by a god? Life is very complex, but I think you are leaving out a third explanation for it. What do you mean? Natural processes, of course. Newton once unwove the rainbow and showed the world that its beauty was just the product of natural phenomena. Likewise, in this case, there could just be more nature out there that we have not yet discovered, and so there is no need to posit a deity to explain the complexity of life, nor to believe it just happened by chance. Surely you're joking. Nothing natural could explain life. It's just far too complex. Immanuel Kant once said that it was absurd to think there would ever come a Newton to explain life, even life as rudimentary as a blade of grass. How could Kant have been so sure? In fact, we already have a hypothesis to explain it. I'm sure you are familiar with the transmutation of species proposed by Jean Lamarck, and are you familiar with the writings of Erasmus Darwin? Oh, come on, that's ridiculous. Species are immutable. George Cuvier had proved it. Perhaps, but I think Cuvier was premature in his dismissal of transmutation, and his methodology in doing so was quite unscientific. Even if transmutation is incorrect, I still don't believe the complexity of life is adequate evidence for God. There very well could be, and there most probably is, a natural explanation for the complexity of life, just as there have been for countless other phenomena we have previously thought inexplicable. Like the rainbow. Time will tell. In 1859, Charles Darwin proposed a theory of evolution by natural selection in his seminal work On the Origin of Species. And that blew the design argument out of the park. Evolution now has an overwhelming amount of evidence to support it, and has been corroborated in experiments, findings, and predictions in countless different fields of study. Evolution by natural selection provides a completely natural explanation for the complexity of life. So how does this all relate to the fine-tuning argument? Well, just as the atheist in our dialogue noted that there must be a third option for the design argument, there is a third option to explain the fine-tuning of the universe, that being natural phenomena. Just like how there was more nature out there that had not yet been discovered before Darwin to explain the complexity of life, there very well could be, and there most probably is, more nature out there to explain the apparent fine-tuning of the cosmological constants. And just like there was a hypothesis that grounded the complexity of biological organisms before Darwin, the theory of transmutation of species, there are also current hypotheses that ground the fine-tuning of our universe, such as the multiverse hypothesis and Stephen Hawking's top-down cosmology. Alright, so that's all for today. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please like and subscribe for more content. Thanks.